Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about the effects of parenting on infant and child development. My research question was, how do parenting characteristics affect the development of infant positive emotionality? Well, first off, emotionality by definition is the observable behavior and physiological component of emotion and is a measure of a person's emotional reactivity to a stimulus. Basically, it is how a person reacts to something and shows emotion. Positive emotionality would be a positive reaction to a stimulus. So for example, you give a kid a toy and they like the toy, so they react to it by smiling and laughing. Negative emotionality would be a negative reaction to a stimulus. So for example, you punish a child for misbehaving and the child reacts by crying. So, I looked into 2 studies that examined the correlation between characteristics such as depression, temperament, and emotionality of parents, and whether or not their children express positive or negative emotionality. In the first study, a series of questionnaires were filled out by parents throughout their baby's first year of life. In these questionnaires, parents self-reported their feelings and paternal characteristics, as well as the frequency and intensity of their infant's expressivity of positive or negative emotions. The results of this study revealed that the more positive emotionality parents expressed, the more positive emotionality their infants expressed as well. In addition, results showed that parents who had higher depressive symptoms tended to have infants who expressed more negative emotionality. In the second study, a series of lab observations and experiments were used to examine paternal characteristics firsthand and the positive and negative emotional reactions of their infants. The results of this study were consistent with the first study in that parents who expressed more positive emotionality had infants who also expressed more positive emotionality. In regards to the effects of paternal characteristics on the development of infant positive emotionality, these studies suggest that parents can affect the emotionality of their infants in both positive and negative ways. However, there are other factors that affect the emotionality of infants, such as their personalities and hereditary factors.
Hi, my name is Noemi, and my question was, does parental physical punishment affect a child's development? According to the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, physical punishment is anything done to cause pain or discomfort in response to your child's behaviors. In the first study, researchers had participants above the age of 20 answer survey questions about physical punishment and emotional neglect. In the second study, the researcher conducted a meta-analysis comprised of 88 studies. They were all selected based on a specific criteria created by the researcher. With the results of both studies, researchers concluded that physical punishment can lead to a lifetime of mental disorders, increased aggression, increased delinquent behavior, and increased antisocial behavior.
Hi, my name is Kelly, and today I will be talking about the correlation between a mother's stress and how it can be transmitted to her infant. Long before a baby is born, while in the womb, they are developing a strong bond with their mother. Researchers were able to test and prove that these close relationships allow for the transmission of stress as well as other emotions. This study of close relationships is referred to as physiological covariation, or the connection between the physiology of 2 individuals over a specific period of time. To test levels of stress, researchers used cheek swabs to measure cortisol in saliva, sensors to monitor heart rate or electrocardiography, as well as the behavior avoidance in infants as noted by the interviewer. For the first study, mothers were given a questionnaire called PANIS, which stands for Positive and Negative Affect Schedule. Upon completing the test, mothers then gave a speech on their strengths and weaknesses. They were reunited with their children and given a positive or negative evaluation from an interviewer in response to their performance. Mothers who received positive feedback appeared more happy or pleased, as did their infant. Likewise, mothers who received negative feedback instead appeared stressed or disappointed, and accordingly, so did their infant. In another study, mothers and infants received a strange situation test, which involved random separations and reunions between the mother-infant dyad or pair. This test resulted in elevated stress for both mother and child. The groups came back a week later, were separated from their mothers again, and participated in tasks under the Fear, Frustration, and Joy Tab Lab. The experiment has several limitations. Physiological covariation can be measured by different effects, such as happiness or anger, rather than just stress. Also, the infants were seated in their mother's laps during post-test interviews. This form of physical touch can allow for skewed responses and behavior avoidance. In conclusion, there does seem to be a correlation in stress between mother-infant dyads. Both studies show elevated stress in babies whose mothers undergo stressful situations. With these results, researchers in the future may be able to address how other emotions are transmitted in similar familial relationships.
In conclusion, the results from the studies demonstrated that parents can affect the development of infants and children. If you have any questions, the research articles are posted in the description below. Thanks for watching!
Created using Powtoon.